Okay, we're ready to explain what we're doing here. I'm Don MacLaren. This is my client, Bill Anderson, and together we've written a book, a very important book. It's called Seeking Heaven's Gate in LA. Now, as you can see, the top here is a picture of Hollywood, and then under here is a picture of actually Bill walking down an alleyway, which he took on his way to school to sort of get to school safely without having to be attacked or robbed by gangs at the time. So this is part of the story is about the gangs in where Bill lived, which was in South Central Los Angeles. And we all know Hollywood and California, Los Angeles, but what we may say is that there's an underside, an underbelly to the whole living at this time with the gangs taking place. So there's an important element here. And I believe it can be said that Bill had a tremendous family. It was a Christian family, and his father was a teacher one time, and then he went on to work for the post office in Los Angeles. But one thing significant is that Bill's father actually stayed part of the family, which is a very good thing for the family and for a black family, because many times, unfortunately, we hear how black men have children and then they disappear, the men go off somewhere. But Bill's father was an outstanding example, and also he was able to participate in the church, and he had his children, including Bill, go to church every Sunday. So this was a good influence on Bill. However, as the book explains, there's a dilemma here. There's a conflict. Bill is spending a Sunday in church, but then he's got Monday to Friday where he has to deal with the gangs. And is he going to participate? Is he going to get involved as a gang member? So this is really his personal dilemma, and how he goes about trying to solve what he's going to do there in South Central LA. Now, Bill, maybe you could explain some of the gang situation and the type of gangs. I believe it was the Crips is the primary gang in your neighborhood, is that correct?
Yes, it seemed like it was the Crips. So the Crips they just popped out of nowhere, like my 5th grade year in school. After a while, you started seeing Crips written on the alleys and on storefronts, and you hear people talking about Crips. Mm-hmm. You know, Crips are there, Crips are here. Be aware of them, Crips. Until from the 5th grade to 6th grade in elementary school, you're reading, well, there was no problem with nothing like that. But the stuff hit the fan once I hit the 7th grade.
Mm-hmm. And so what school was that in? Yeah, what school did you go to there?
I went to Horseman Junior High School,
mm-hmm.
and that school was infested with Crips.
Yeah, and Crips were a little bit notorious even by then, because a couple things. One is they would sometimes sneak into classrooms or so just to hide away in the back of the classroom with certain teachers. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, they would sneak in the classrooms in the back to blend in with other students during a sweep.
A sweep
is when the administrators are looking for truants, and looking for people that are not supposed to be on the school campus, and people they know that's troublemakers.
Right.
And they do a sweep, and they run to different classrooms or even run out to school. Mm-hmm. But they'll hide in certain classrooms where they know they can get away with it.
Yeah. And not only that, they in some classes, unfortunately for the teacher, they would be even in the back there gambling or smoking or weed or something.
Gambling and smoking, and sometimes weed. It depends on exactly where the class is at. Mm-hmm. If it's like on the back, where next to a street, mm-hmm. you more likely to smoke weed.
Mm-hmm. Something there.
But they'll be careful about that too, because they know they don't want to get caught, so they try to mm-hmm. be as smart as they can be, believe it or not.
Yeah, right.
Which is pretty good, though. They do a lot of clever things, believe
mm-hmm.
it or not.
Unfortunately, the young men involved with the gangs were smart, clever, but not for school or for texts books and other things that they needed for real life. This is a tragedy in their own career. But he also said, besides this in the classroom problems, they also were problems becoming thieves, I guess, to other students at lunchtime.
Yes, lunchtime was a primary time where they know they can get money from people, from students. Especially if there's a long line and they just come up to you and say, give me some money. You know. They know you had money because there's no way you'd be in line without money.
Right.
So that was a scary part of going a horseman, was going into line, especially if you didn't have a free lunch ticket.
Yeah, and so every day, I guess, there was always a threat of trying to go to school. Is that what you're saying?
Every day there was a threat, and I don't believe that I went to school every day in the 7th grade, but I went to school there. I went to horseman every day. I went to class every day. I couldn't stay at home.
Yeah.
My father was strict. And,
Yes, right.
Only way you had to stay home, you had to be close to dying
Yeah,
before
right.
you not to go home.
Yeah.
You stay home.
Stay home, right. Well, that's one thing good about his father is a good family, training and example all the more. So hopefully all fathers will be good and also good examples and treat and guide their children the right way, because it certainly shows you that probably those Crips were joining Crips because maybe they had no fathers or other problems at home. Is that correct?
From what I see, they mainly joined the Crips because maybe they probably didn't have a father at home, or if they did have a father at home, he wasn't as strong as he should have been towards them, or maybe he was an ex-prisoner or something like that.
Yeah. So,
Or maybe doing illegal things himself.
so yes, there was
it was a tough situation.
home life problems that sort of destroying not only the immediate family, but the education of the kids. I mean, we say kids, but they were teenagers. And the whole problem is still going on. I mean, I just want to reference here what situation in particular. It happens to be New York City, not Los Angeles, but it happens. Here's a situation where a young man, and it's noted that he's a member of the Crips, and he started shooting to try to shoot the father, but his aim was not too good, so unfortunately he shot the stroller that had the father's son in it, and the child did get shot and killed. And then there was a big uproar, and they have managed to capture this man who ran off to another state to try to get away. But here's a young man who's technically ruined his life and other lives, and he ended a young child's life. And maybe this child could have grown up to be somebody important or helpful to other people. Maybe he could have been a medical doctor, and the world has lost this opportunity. We know that there's actually hundreds of shootings going on every year throughout the United States, and there may even be hundreds of shootings in New York City. But the fact is, the mentality of the Crips, as he's boasting here, he's a member of the Crips. We don't need to see that. And actually, Bill's book reminds us of another case, how the book ends, that tragedy did strike and shootings do take place. And we hope to get the message to other young people. Let's avoid the Crips, and let's find ways to educate everyone so they have a better opportunity. This is no way. This young man may spend the rest of his life in jail. And in some cases, some people in some states may be put to death for having killed somebody. So it's a very serious situation to be a member of the Crips or the Bloods. And the Bloods and Crips were the two main gangs at your time,
Yes.
was it?
Matter of fact, this story kind of reminded me of myself as a kid. I remember me and my family, we took a family outing to one of the parks, Cincinnati Park to be in fact, in
Los
Inglewood,
Angeles.
California.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
That's the main turf for the Inglewood family, which is now associated with the Bloods. And we was there. I remember I was there playing with my brother in the park, you know, like any other normal family would do. And all of a sudden, there was a big ruckus going on. Turns out it was a Inglewood family driving the Crips that was in their park out of their park.
Yeah.
This was the early stages of the gangs in L.A. The Crips and the Bloods, or Inglewood family. And thank God there wasn't no shooting going on. They wasn't shooting at the time. But they could have been shooting. Well, all they did was like a little fist fight. They threw trash cans at each other. And the Crips, they ran out the park.
Yeah. But
later on,
yeah, it's the
they started
guns.
shooting guns.
Yeah, and guns.
And we was right in between them. We was playing. If there was a shooting, I could have been shot.
Yeah.
And I was about I say about 5 years older than this kid right here.
Right. So we're going to get the message out with Bill's book, and Bill can be a speaker, or maybe myself. And we want to reach schools or kids or churches and anywhere where we can influence, especially the young kids and young teenagers, young adults, to say, hey, let's do something, make changes, help people get education, help people get jobs, help them have reasons to stay off the street. And I thank Bill very much for working hard on his book. And now we have a finished book of over 300 pages. But it's a great story, and it's just an example that we feel we can help save lives. So we're going to be keeping in touch with anybody who wants to email us or call us or mail us, and we'd be glad to help you, your school, your church, whoever, and your young people. So we're going to do that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to turn this off, but we're going to relate to you by YouTube and other ways too. We have a website coming up. Okay, thank you for participating with us very much, and we'll be in touch.